grandeza de México. Así se lleva México en la piel.
I'm from San Jose. I lived there for 11 years. My parents are both from Michoacan, but different parts of Michoacan. My mom came to the United States in 1997. She crossed illegally while pregnant with my sister, then stayed in LA for a while before moving to San Jose. My dad crossed the border and then met my mom in San Jose. Later on in 1998, I was born. I lived in a rancho in San Jose. As a family, we struggled. My parents worked in the fields while my sister and I would be in the car waiting for them. And in 2009, we came to Napa looking for a better life. As a second generation Chicano, I feel fortunate to have been born in the United States. I'm thankful for my parents taking the risk of crossing so me and my siblings could have a better life.
Hot sun, dry skin, and tired feet. This is how I remember what I like to call el viaje, my trip, immigrating here to the US with my mom. I immigrated when I was 5 years old. I immigrated with my mom and my uncle to meet my stepdad, who was over here in the US. I used to live in Tisqui Hidalgo with my mom. We then moved to Mexico City with my stepdad. After a year or so, we then immigrated to the US and lived in Riverside, California for about 8 years before moving to Napa. The trip was so exciting yet frightening. I was so excited to travel to a new country yet scared because I didn't know what to expect. Immigrating here was something that changed my life forever. It was hard, yes. The trip itself was very hard, but starting a new life here was the hardest part of all. I was bullied and treated as something less. All my life, I have had to settle for something less than I deserve. But all the struggles that I have gone through have helped me become the proud Latina I am today.
Fortunately or unfortunately, me and my family didn't have to go through all the bad things you hear about. This is my story. My grandma Martha lived in Sinaloa with my great grandparents, but often visited Tijuana, when she met where she met a guy who she fell in love with that lived in the United States. While both of them being in Mexico, they went to the consulado, which is an office to get a visa, where she was able to get a vacational visa that got approved because she said she was going to school here. She and him planned to elope. He got her a plane ticket from Tijuana to Oakland, where he was going to meet her, but the visa was only temporary. My grandma was supposed to return back to Mexico, but didn't. As you can see, my story is a lot different. My grandma came to the United States legally at the age of 18. A year later, after being in the United States, she had a baby who is my mother, Yvonne, and 4 years later had my Aunt Judy. They got separated and eventually divorced. Never in that time did she get her residency. Being a single mom, she started to work and go to school to learn English. After several years, she met a man at the college, Jose Garcia, who was also divorced. They became friends and fell in love, eventually getting married. He didn't have his residency either. They had been together for 4 years and got married. Within a year, got pregnant while my grandma was pregnant with her third child. My grandpa was working at Buttercream Bakery, where one day his ex wife called immigration on him. The ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, went to pick him up. He explained to me how he felt when they handcuffed him and took him out through the front doors of the bakery. Everyone staring him down. He felt like a criminal. He was taken to San Francisco to get fingerprinted and arrested to wait his deportation. Luckily for him, his boss came down to where he was being held and spoke for him, saying how he was a good worker and needed him and that he would take responsibility for him. But he needed him back because of this good man's deeds and of not having a criminal record helped him get his residency. He then fixed his and his wife's residency. Being second generation, I am fortunate for being here with a family who has residency/citizenship. My grandma was one of the lucky ones who was able to come with a visa, but unfortunately, in a lot of cases, people have to go through many struggles to come to the United States for better opportunities. Things need to be changed in our government. Maybe there was one lucky person, but not all are as lucky.
Small blue house, 3 rooms, 1 bathroom, and 6 people. Dressed with a white color shirt, red chaleco, and dark blue skirt. Long socks and black shoes. Mi vida en Mexico. I am from San Andres Isclan, Jalisco. I lived there for 5 years before crossing to the United States. I first crossed when I was 6 years old. During that time, I was in kindergarten. My family and I crossed to the United States legally because my dad had fixed the paperwork so that we were able to come here to the United States. I was frightened to get into the plane because it was my first time getting on one. We arrived to the US in October. My family and I moved to LA to live with one of my aunts because we did not have a house of our own. We lived there for at least half a year before moving to Napa. Since then, I've lived here in Napa Valley, my great town, mi barrio.
Hard work, double time, overtime, 2 jobs, working till our hands hurt. But we ain't never late to pay the bills. Mother said always follow your heart, make sure to keep your head above the...
Being Latina means being hardworking, doing everything it takes to make anything possible, being proud of my culture and where I come from. Being Latina
means embracing my culture and my roots. Being Latina means being proud of where I come from. Being strong and willpower. Being Latina means familia, sangre o no sangre. Being Latina means...
Being Latino to me means working very hard, like having more than 3 jobs y buscando un mejor futuro. Being Latino means celebrating my culture and beliefs. Being Latino means protecting my family. Being Latino means...
Being Latina to me means many of my life choices are often not my very own, but almost always made with the input of mi familia. Being Latina means words mean everything. Being Latina means I'm full of culture and pride, and nothing will change that for me because mi familia made me that way. Being Latina means I will always stick by my family even when they are wrong.
Double time, overtime, 2 jobs, working till our hands hurt. But we ain't never late to pay the bills. Mother said always follow your heart, make sure to keep your head above the water. And I promised her I always will. I see 50 Latinos, 50 Latinas. That's my crib on a weekend. That's mi familia. Talking in Spanglish and Espanol. I'm just here to let you know. If you don't know, now you know.